Samantha paced nervously behind the front desk of her newly acquired bed and breakfast. The walls were adorned with quaint floral wallpaper, and a sleepy-looking dog curled up by the fireplace. After years of saving, she finally had her own cozy business in a charming little town. But tonight, her dreams were about to take an unexpected turn. The bell over the entrance tinkled, and in walked her first guests, an elderly couple with kind eyes. Their arrival calmed Samantha's nerves instantly. They checked in without hassle, exchanging pleasantries. Samantha showed them to their room, an elegant suite with a beautiful view of the garden. As the night breeze rustled through the trees, the tranquility was shattered by a distressed bellman frantically knocking on Samantha's office door. "Ma'am, we have a problem. Mrs. Lawson's necklace is missing," he exclaimed, breathless. Samantha's heart skipped a beat. She had made it clear to all employees that her establishment was built on trust and integrity. Mrs. Lawson had been wearing a priceless, heirloom necklace, an exquisite piece of handcrafted artistry. Panic began to consume Samantha, but she had to put on a brave face. She hurriedly dashed to Mrs. Lawson's room, its door ajar. The couple was in disarray, clothes strewn across the floor. Mrs. Lawson wore a look of utter devastation, her husband, despair. "We locked the door before we went to bed, Samantha. But now—" Mr. Lawson's voice trailed off, a heavy weight in his words. Samantha inspected the room closely. There were no signs of forced entry, and the window appeared undisturbed. She could feel the questioning gazes of her employees. Could one of them have committed this act of betrayal? She had to tread carefully, both for the reputation of her B&B and for the well-being of her staff. She called the staff together for an impromptu meeting in the garden, a shimmering backdrop of roses in full bloom. Samantha spoke with a firm yet gentle tone, deliberately maintaining her composure. "I understand the gravity of the situation. We are all one family here, but something unacceptable has occurred. Rest assured, I will be conducting a thorough investigation." The staff members exchanged nervous glances, some shifting uncomfortably in their seats. Samantha knew she had to question them all while the details were still fresh in their minds. Each interview felt like an interrogation, but it needed to be done. As she spoke with each employee, the web of suspicion seemed to grow, tangling even the most unsuspecting individuals. Days turned into nights, and nights into weeks. Samantha left no stone unturned, examining every corner of the bed and breakfast, searching for any clues that would unravel the mystery. The guests, once filled with joy and laughter, were now surrounded by tension and doubt. Samantha's determination drove her deep into the investigation. Gradually, a pattern began to emerge, pointing at a web of deceit within her own establishment. Trust and loyalty became mere illusions, and every word uttered before seemed laced with a hidden agenda. Finally, on a balmy evening, while retracing her steps in Mrs. Lawson's room, Samantha discovered a tiny detail: a smudge of dirt near the edge of a dusty table. She leaned closer, examining it, her excitement growing. Rushing to her office, she pulled out the staff photo album, flipping feverishly to find images of all her employees. There, staring back at her, was a photo of the bellman with smudged hands. Her heart sank, but she knew she had found the thief. Gathering her courage, Samantha called a meeting of her staff once more. As they gathered in the garden once more, Samantha held the bellman's hand above a glass table. A small dusting brush hovered by his wrist. "I have discovered your deceit, your betrayal," she declared. "The smudge of dirt near the table in Mrs. Lawson's room not only matches the dirt on your hands but also the path leading to the staff quarters." The bellman's eyes darted, panic overtaking his face as he realized his betrayal had been uncovered. He stammered out an explanation, a plea for forgiveness, but Samantha was resolute. She was determined to protect her dream and the trust her guests had placed in her. As the bellman was escorted off the property, Samantha's heart ached at the realization of the betrayal she had encountered. But she also felt a renewed strength. From that day forward, the seclusion of her bed and breakfast was not only a place of charm and comfort. It had become her sanctuary, her fortress against deceit, and a reminder that she must always be vigilant in the pursuit of truth.